need to zoom it in a little bit. Ow, where's the freaking, oh, like there. Maybe a tiny bit more. Oh. Like that. Okay, we'll just go with it. Okay, this is the first time in a really long time that I've done a video like this. I think it's probably been like, oh, I don't know. I want to say probably like 6 months or so. I think the last video where it wasn't like just me carrying around my camera talking about random stuff was like tips for after my surgery. So yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah, so I feel super uncomfortable, totally awkward. This is also the first time I'm filming with this camera, so I keep looking at myself in the viewfinder. That's gonna be annoying. It's also the first time I'm filming a like sit down video since we've moved like in this house. So this is like the best spot I could find to do this. So I don't know how it's gonna look. I don't know how it's gonna sound. I'm having trouble with like my camera kind of makes a weird noise. Like I can hear it in the background of all my videos, this little camera that I'm using, not my other one. And I don't know how to fix that. So if that's like really loud and apparent, I apologize. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I feel so stupid. Oh my God. So I'm starting to realize that it's so much, like I'm so much more awkward doing a video like this. And that doing it more like vlog style, carrying my camera, it's easier for me to talk that way. I think just because I'm distracted, like I can walk around and do things, and sitting down like this, I just feel like it's, I don't know, I don't like it. So I'm forcing myself to do it today. Forcing myself to be uncomfortable today, like super uncomfortable, but that's okay. Let's see. So what's this video going to be about? I feel like it's going to be probably a little bit all over the place, kind of a mess. I'm going to do like an update on like kind of my overall like state and health, or whatever you want to call it, since my surgery. And then also talk about, like how we've been trying to get pregnant since then, and everything we've done and tried and all of that. So there's probably going to be some TMI stuff too. I mean, I'm sure there will be. Yeah, and it's so weird looking at myself in red. I never wear red. It's my least favorite color. I don't own anything but this in red. I don't have anything red in my house. Like I can't stand red, but I'm wearing it because it's February, and I thought next week's Valentine's Day, so I think it has like a little heart on it too. So this shirt, Josh's, let me see if I can get it on there. Okay, this is awkward. Can you see it? There's a heart right there. Josh's aunt made me this shirt, and a bunch of the girls from my gym, which is on B Fitness, I don't know if you can read that, for, oh gosh, what's it called? It's like when you wear red, it's like the Heart Health Awareness Month or whatever, because we have a girl at our gym that she actually died, and her husband brought her back to life, and she's had like a couple of heart surgeries and stuff, and I don't know why I'm talking about that. I'm distracting myself. All right, so let's see. Let's start with surgery update stuff. So my surgery for endometriosis was almost 8 months ago, which is so insane. I can't believe it was that long ago. It really feels like forever ago. My surgery was the end of June of 2018, and it's now February 2019. So the end of this month will be 8 months, I guess. So at the state I am now with all of that, I mean, I'm totally fine. My scars, I guess I could show you. I'm not really prepared for that. Like, do you want to see my chubby white winter belly? I'll just show you. What the hell? So my scars are, I don't even know if it's gonna like focus because it's so white. They're looking pretty good. This one's always been worse, like ever since my surgery, so they're looking pretty good. They're almost gone. I mean, it's gonna take a while, and like I'm so fair-skinned that my skin takes a really long time to heal anyway, like with any kind of scars or spots or anything, like they just last forever. It's just my skin type and my skin color, I think. But yeah, so that's good. One thing I will say is I am not kidding, like my core and my core strength is still messed up from my surgery. I think a big part of that is because they have to like, you know, cut through muscle to go in there. So I think that's a big part of it, but I'm not kidding. I still, and I don't go to the gym very often anymore. I'll come back to that. But I've been trying to go at least twice a week. And I still get pain sometimes. And I'm not talking about like when your abs are just sore after a workout. I'm talking like sometimes in class, like I physically cannot do still some of the ab stuff. Excuse me. Why am I out of breath? I'm just sitting here. Okay, chill the F out. Yeah, so I think that just is gonna take a really long time. So I felt like, so after I felt strong enough to start working out again after my surgery, I got to a point where I was starting to feel really good again and really strong, like pretty much back to normal. And then we started doing like fertility treatments and stuff, and I had to take time off because of medication and all of that, which I'm gonna get into more detail about that. So I think it's just, I kind of reverted back to having to start over again, which is really frustrating, but at the same time, it's like, it just kind of is what it is. So yeah, but aside from that, everything else is good. So let's see. So after I had my surgery, my doctor told us to wait. I can't remember if it was, I think it was either 2 or 3 months, like 2 months for sure, but possibly 2 or 3 months, after my surgery to start trying again. So of course I listened to my doctor and we did that. And then he also told me if I'm not pregnant within 6 months to go back, and he would put me on some medications, and we would just kind of go from there. So we tried on our own for 2 months, and then I was like, you know what, screw this, like I'm gonna go back and get stuff started now, because I am not gonna wait a whole other 6 months to see if I get pregnant and then start stuff. Like I was just over it. Still am. So I went back to my doctor after 2 months of trying on our own, and we decided to try clomid, which I have done clomid before. It was years ago, before I found out I had endometriosis and everything. And when I did it then, I didn't have any side effects from it, and obviously also it didn't work for me. But this time, I mean, I'm kind of going to sound like a broken record a little bit in some of these videos. I'm going to talk about stuff I've already talked about, but it's just how my brain works. I have to like do it all kind of in order, and I don't know. Anyway, so yes, did clomid. My body hates clomid, hates it. I had just like not all of the side effects you can have. I mean, I didn't end up in the hospital, and I didn't have like a ruptured cyst, but pretty darn close. Yeah, I did not have good side effects from it. It made me feel like crap. It was painful for me. I ended up getting a pretty large cyst on one of my ovaries from it. So my doctor's like, okay, let's not do clomid again. Obviously it doesn't work for your body. Yeah, so that didn't work. So when we did that medication, okay, so that was in November that we did clomid. We had planned on doing our first IUI on clomid, so it would have been, I guess, in December. But since I had that cyst from it, my doctor's like, nope, let's give your ovaries a rest and not do IUI this month, let's just wait. And so I was like, dang it. So we still tried on our own that month, just because I was like, you know what? I mean, I'm not doing this for nothing. I took this medication. I feel like crap from it. Like, okay, we can't do IUI, but let's just try on our own anyway, so it's not like completely for nothing in case it works. So we did that. I don't recommend that. I don't recommend that at all. If you feel like I did, like I was so bloated, and then I had that big cyst on one of my ovaries, so it was just like swollen and big, and not on my ovary, in my ovary. Because if you know anything, I mean, whatever, you can Google it, but basically it's normal to have cysts, like the cysts turn into follicles, which produce eggs, whatever, but this wasn't a normal cyst. I think a normal cyst is like, my doctor, I think, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure anything under 2 inches is fine. This one was big. So I was so uncomfortable. My ovaries, I swear they were like, they felt like they were like, what size? I don't know, maybe like a tennis ball in there, and just swollen and painful. So I don't recommend still trying to get pregnant when you're like that, because it totally sucked. Like, it was awful. And we were supposed to have sex for like a lot of days in a row. And I just powered through it, and it totally sucked. Like, TMI, but honestly, like, there was a day I cried out of frustration. Like, I just had it. I was like, I hate this. I don't want to do this. It just like, just sucks. I can't wait for the day where like that part of our life, this is so TMI, but whatever, this is just part of it. And like, if you're trying to conceive and doing this kind of stuff, like, you probably understand it a little bit. I just can't wait until that part of our life is like normal again. I just can't wait for it. But anyway, yeah, so there was a day that I cried. There was plenty of days where I was just like mad and frustrated. There was a day where I was like in so much pain that like, it just sucked. And then, you know, yeah, anyway, okay, we'll just move on from there. So then my doctor said, well, let's try femara. And that is a medication similar to clomid. It works a little bit differently. Some people, everybody's different. Some people react better to clomid. Some people react better to femara. It just, I don't know, everybody's different. So she put me on femara on just like the standard dose. It's really low. I don't remember what it was, like 2 or 5 milli. Well, I don't know, whatever the standard like lowest one that you would start with is what she put me on. And my body likes femara, I think, at least so far. I really didn't have a lot of side effects from it. Like, I definitely had hot flashes, which, I mean, whatever, you can deal with it, it sucks, but, and what else? Like, a moody, you know, I mean, it's definitely, it's a hormone thing, so, I mean, it's definitely gonna make you a little like less normal. Like, I mean, I'm never normal anyway, but like, you know, just a little bit more moody, and it's just messing with your hormones, so it's gonna affect you a little bit. But I think the biggest side effect that I had from that really was just hot flashes. It wasn't bad at all. And I also didn't have like with clomid, I had like that really bloated, full, uncomfortable feeling, and femara I didn't have that really at all. I mean, I had a little bit of bloating, but nothing to where it was like super full and uncomfortable. So so we did that, and then we did our first IUI the beginning of January, and it didn't work. So I was super disappointed. I was like really hoping it would work. I remember and okay, so here's where I'm at also with like testing, like pregnancy tests. I don't take them. I don't know if I ever will. Oh my God. Yeah, I am not testing. I mean, obviously I'm doing ovulation tests because I have to, especially when you're doing IUI, you need to know when you're gonna ovulate. But as far as pregnancy tests go, I'm not taking them unless I'm like 3 days, 5 days late for my period or something, then obviously I'll have a reason to test. But especially when you're on these medications, sometimes they can like mess with your readings. So yeah, I'm not testing. On the cycle of clomid that we did, I was going kind of crazy. I think that month I used like 5 pregnancy tests. So stupid. But I just decided it's not worth it. It's not worth it to stress myself out. And every time I see a negative, just be like upset about it. So I'm just not testing anymore. Let's see. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so I remember the day that I found out that first IUI didn't work. I also decided something else. I am no longer the person that is upset and crying by herself in the bathroom or in my bedroom on my bed or hiding it from my husband. Like, I'm gonna share it with him. It's just so stupid to not. Like, it makes me feel bad, and then it makes me feel alone. So the day that I found out that the IUI didn't work, I remember, so down my hall here, my husband was on the computer, and it was like morning time, kind of early. I had a newborn session that day, actually, which was so hard to do, but it was actually fine. And work is fine, like when it's newborn sessions and stuff. Like when I'm there, my mind is just wrapped up in that, but like that was just the worst session to have to go do that day. And like literally I found out the IUI didn't work, cried about it with my husband, had to jump in the shower and go shoot a baby. It's like, oh my God, it was hard. But so I walked down the hall and my husband was on the computer, and like I looked at him and I was like, I couldn't even say anything. I basically like just went like this and started crying. Felt so stupid. But you know, and then it makes me feel bad too, because I know that he feels terrible, and I know he does, and like he can't do anything. But it makes me feel better to at least share that with him and not feel like I'm alone and not feel like I'm hiding something from him. And I mean, I just think it's important to do that, to share it with your partner and to let them see you upset. I mean, as weird as that sounds, like, I think it's just helpful all around for everyone, because it's kind of part of the whole process, and it's part of like, not the spoken communication, but just like the emotional communication. Like, you don't want to keep that part out of it too, you know? Anyway, so that's how that went. So wow, I've made a lot of decisions the last couple of months. So I've also decided something else. We will be doing our second consultation at the fertility clinic here for IVF. And I've decided that until that consultation, we're just gonna do IUI like as much as we can until then, so that we're not wasting time, just so that we have, I mean, the chance of IUI working at all is really slim. Like it's not that much higher than if you were to just try it home on your own. But at least I'm having like that much better of a chance every month of conceiving than if we were just trying on our own, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna keep doing IUIs as long as I can, like as long as everything looks good that month and my doctor says I can and everything works out, then I'm just gonna keep doing it until our IVF appointment, because yeah, like I said, then I feel like we're not wasting time. So I have really, really short cycles. My cycles are usually 24 days. Randomly and rarely they'll be like 26 days. I don't think I've ever had a cycle that was longer than 26 days. So I'm pretty consistently 24-day cycle person. So we actually did 2 IUIs in January, because the first one, the beginning of January, didn't work, and then since my cycle's short, I had another period in January, and then anyway, so we also did a second IUI the end of January. This one was just a little bit different. So my doctor upped my dose of femara. We did a double dose, and then I also did what's called a trigger shot. And if you're not familiar with that, basically it's just a shot. It's a hormone shot, and it's HCG, whatever. Yeah, HCG, right? That's the hormone that like the pregnancy test for. Yes. And so you do the trigger shot to ensure ovulation. So I got the trigger shot, took it back to my doctor, and they gave it to me. If you've never had one, it's totally fine. It's not a big deal at all. I mean, I'm not somebody who gets like weirded out with shots and needles and stuff, so I don't really care. But this one goes in your butt cheek. And it doesn't hurt when you get it, but let me tell you, since it goes, so it's one that they do in the muscle, your butt cheek is gonna be sore for a few days. Like mine was really sore. I was like, holy crap. And it also made me a little bit dizzy. I don't know if that was that shot or the femara or a combination of both or what, but it made me a little bit dizzy, like I think it was later that day, maybe part of the next day, like a day. So yeah, the trigger shot, basically you do that, you go in, my doctor had me go in like a day or two before I was supposed to ovulate, and then I ended up having a really good perfect follicle, and she's like, okay, we can do your IUI tomorrow. And then so I did the trigger shot that day, and when you do the trigger shot, it makes you ovulate. I think it's within, what is it? It's like 24 to 36 hours after you take the trigger shot that you ovulate. Again, I could be wrong, but I think if I'm remembering right, it's something like that. So then we went in and did IUI for the second time the next day. And I still am waiting to know if that worked or not. I don't know yet, so cross your fingers for me. Let's hope that it did. Yeah, so that, let's see, is that it? I mean, I kind of just wanted to do like an overall update of like everything we've been doing and trying, and how I feel and all of that. I have some other videos that I've been really wanting to make, but to be honest, either I've been like bummed out and not feeling like doing it, or I don't want to hear myself talk or see my face. Like this whole thing is just still so weird for me. Like, and I don't like talking about myself, like generally, you know, so it's just weird for me. Like, I'm so sick of hearing my voice and seeing my face and watching me talk and all of that. But I also want to get this stuff out there. Not only for me, it just helps to talk about it. And then I also want to have, you know, a record of our, like what we've been doing and like our, journey, I guess. I don't know. I hate it when people say that, like our fertility journey. I don't know what else to call it though. And then also, you know, just so that other people going through similar things or just curious about infertility or these medications and IUI and how it works and all that stuff can maybe watch my stuff and understand it a little bit more, or people that are about to go through it, like maybe it'll help them. I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, I really thought that I would be pregnant by now. I mean, I did not think that 8 months after my surgery I would still be trying to figure out why I can't get pregnant. And it definitely is like something with my body. My husband is like totally fine every time that we have done IUI, and like any other time he's ever had like a semen sample, it's always been like so good. And I don't mean like just like good, I mean like really good. She always tells me that it's like amazing. So it's definitely something with me. And you know, I do have endometriosis, but I did have it taken out. So apparently I think this video stopped, or this camera stops recording at a certain time. Okay, that's good to know. What was I saying? Yeah, so it's definitely something with my body. It's just so frustrating. Like, I don't know what it is. And in my head, I'm starting to think again, that it is my eggs, because in an old video I talked about how I had a test done and the quality of my eggs came back really bad. But my doctor now, she has always told me that that's not so big of a deal. I've seen people with really low egg quality get pregnant naturally and get pregnant on, you know, these medications, and so don't worry about it too much. But I'm starting to think that that probably is the issue, because I really don't know what else it could be. I mean, my tubes are open, everything's functioning fine. Every time I go in for an ultrasound or the IUI, which, by the way, the last few months, like since when? I don't know. Definitely since we moved here, maybe even before that, but since we moved here, which we've lived here since September, October, November, December, January, we've lived here 5 months. Holy crap, well, almost 5 months. Since then, I have been to my doctor anywhere from like 2 to 6 times a month. It just depends on what I'm doing and what she has to check. So I'm no stranger to going there. But so every time she does an ultrasound, she says, you know, everything looks good. My ovaries look good. my follicles have always looked good, except for that one time I had the cyst that was too big, but she's never said like my follicles are too immature or anything like that. My uterus always looks perfect. My lining always looks perfect. So at this point, I don't know if maybe there's just some more testing that I might need to do, or if it just maybe is an issue with my eggs. And if it is, maybe, you know, IVF will be the route that we need to take, just because, you know, they take out the eggs and then you can use the good ones if you have any good ones. Yeah, so other than that, I mean, I really don't know. And then since endometriosis is an autoimmune disease, and then I have psoriasis, which is an autoimmune disease, I don't know if that could be playing a little bit bigger part, you know, than my doctor might be thinking. I don't know. She did put me, I don't know if I mentioned this before, she did put me on a low dose of aspirin that I take every day. It's just bare low dose. It's like the 80 milligram or whatever the heck it is. 81 actually, I think. She said that she always puts her autoimmune patients on that when they're pregnant and before they're pregnant. It just helps with inflammation, and I really don't know what else it would help with. So I am taking that every day too. But other than that, I really just, I don't know what it could be. So, something else that I've decided that I didn't say. This video is just all over the place. Like, it's probably, I've been talking about stuff that I probably didn't even intend on talking about. But I think that I've also decided, I mean, I've said this a ton of times and I've told my husband this. And I mean, I say this now, who knows what will happen, but I really feel like this is our last year of trying, because like it's just one of those things. And I mean, this should be a whole other video, but it's just like, as much as like you don't want it to just like consume you and take over your life, it just does. It does for me, and it's so hard to not let it, and it's so hard to not just like be bummed out all the time and like feel stressed or feel depressed or feel sad or feel jealous and upset. And like I can't do that forever. Like I cannot go through the rest of like my life, or however many years it would take to get pregnant, just always doing this and always being up and down, up and down, up and down. Like it's just like, it's awful. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to my husband. It's not fair to like our family or anybody that I never see, because I don't even ever want to see anybody anymore. Like it's just, that's a whole other video that I'm gonna make. So yeah, I think that this is our last year of trying naturally with medication, IUI, IVF, whatever. After this year, if nothing works, we'll just kind of go from there. Because yeah, like I said, like there's only so long that you can just like do the same thing over and over and over and not ever see results and not ever feel better, and just like, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Yeah, so I think that's probably it. I talked about like surgery stuff. I talked about everything. Oh, I guess also like symptoms and stuff of endometriosis. Like I really don't have them anymore since my surgery. I definitely don't get endo belly like I did. I get bloated off and on. But since I've been like on medication for the last few months, like it's usually just because of that. But it's nothing like the endo belly. Like it's nothing like I used to be. Yeah, I really don't, I don't have as bad cramps anymore. My period's pretty much the same. Maybe it's a little bit lighter. Like I only ever have it for 3 days, sometimes 4. Yeah, so I really don't have like the bloating and like painful symptoms as much anymore of endometriosis. I still have like back pain and stuff like that, but honestly, again, these medications that I'm taking, that can be a symptom of that, and like headaches and stuff like that. So I don't really think it's associated with the endometriosis anymore. So that's good. That's been good. And I can kind of eat what I want, which is good and bad, because honestly, like, okay, so these medications, definitely can make you gain weight. And I think they have, but also I've just been like I said, not going to the gym as much because some days I physically can't, like I don't feel good from the medications, or like I'm in the 2-week wait period and so I'm like too scared to go because I don't want to like be jumping around and like, you know, so I don't go to the gym as much, and I've just been like eating a lot more because it's winter and I'm home all the time. I'm just like eating all day. So I've definitely gained some weight. But I can pretty much eat anything and not have it affect me like it used to with endometriosis. Yeah, so like I said, that's good and bad, but yeah, so I think that's it. I think I'm gonna go. I think the next video that I am gonna do, I don't know, because there's a few that I need to do. It's just, again, like I said, it's like the mental thing of like, I really want to do these videos. I want to talk about this stuff and I need to, but I just like, it's kind of like some heavy stuff and I just like don't feel like it most of the time. So, but I'll get there. Okay, so that's it. Bye. Don't like this above my head. That's annoying. That light switch is really stupid. Why am I so picky? Like, this is so dumb. Now I'm way too far away. Testing. Can you hear me? Whoa, what was that noise? Puppy. I need mascara. Wait, how do I? Is that too? That's so weird. I don't like the way that's cropped. I need it. All right, this is the first, no.